Russell Crowe. Hollywood superstar Russell Crowe shocked the world by leaving fame. Fans are stunned and Hollywood is curious about the Gladiator star's sudden change. Crowe's new chapter is as riveting as his legendary ones, trading red carpets for a bold new route. What led this legend to leave? What's he doing so captivatingly? We explore the thrilling mystery and unveil the move that's rewriting his iconic narrative, the untamed rise of Russell Crowe. We don't start on a Hollywood set or at an awards ceremony. An unknown actor performed so brutally and violently in 1992 that cops thought the chaos was real in Melbourne's underground scene. Romp or Stomper propelled Russell Crowe's career as the frightening Hondo, introducing him as a magnetic and threatening force. Even directors murmured that his wrath was more like a storm than acting. This storm was only intensifying. By 1997, Crowe erupted in Hollywood with L.A. Confidential. He played Detective Bud White, a harsh officer. He was accused of stealing Kevin Spacey's scenes. Others said he intimidated the camera. Once, producer Curtis Hanson said Aussie was like a grenade with the pin off. Maybe he was right. Crowe appeared poised to detonate on screen or off. Gladiator in 2000 was the tipping point. Imagine early sword drills in the Maltese heat, perspiration streaming, discipline unshakable. Crowe requested steel after throwing a rubber sword into the Mediterranean during a combat scene. Studio yielded to him. Max, a fighter people trusted because Crowe believed in him, came from that tenacity. The performance earned him an Oscar and immortalized him in Hollywood. As if demonstrating he was more than muscle and anger, he became John Nash in A Beautiful Mind, 2001. This warrior who had roared on battlefields was now whispering madness into silent screen corners. He rewrote the script around 3 a.m. to suggest Nash's insanity needed delicacy, not yelling. Director Ron Howard eventually conceded Crowe was right. His insights made the performance memorable. Crowe hit a rare acting peak at 37. He won back-to-back Best Actor nominations and ruled action and drama alongside Brando. Fame feeds the beast it generates. Rumors of bar fights, blazing tempers, and a man fighting his volcanic energy circulated off-camera. Could Crowe have been misinterpreted? Or was Hollywood looking at an untamable genius? Russell Crowe may be so appealing because of that. Not just an actor. He's a furious, brilliant, unpredictable riddle that may explain our inability to look away. What hidden part of Russell Crowe emerges during storms and scandals? Would it surprise you? Stay informed and find out. Russell Crowe, scandals, storms, and surprising softness. Russell Crowe was never a Hollywood wallflower. His rise to fame was like a hurricane, leaving stories that are still talked about. Some recall the battles, as the 1999 Canadian bar fight that led to his incarceration or the Paris hotel fight a few years later. Others recall the 2005 New York hotel worker who dodged a flying phone as irritation bubbled over. Crowe joked on Letterman that he had gone nuclear. Crowe's instability was never limited to fury. His personal life, like his business, was tabloid-worthy. In 2000, romance rumors on Proof of Life made news worldwide. Crowe, the moody co-star who thrived in scandal, was blamed for Meg Ryan's divorce from Dennis Quaid. Danielle Spencer, his Sydney bar date, followed. Most unglamorous conditions. She spilled beer on his shoe, starting a romance. Crowe later told Oprah he knew she was real from the start. After their 2012 divorce, Crowe performed one of his most shocking self-cleanses. He auctioned off his history piece by piece, calling it a purification by fire. Nothing appeared sacred, from gladiator armor to his precious globe. Crowe's leather jacket was taken by Cate Blanchett, proving that even his mementos had value. Despite the pandemonium, there were quieter moments that rarely made headlines. He secretly paid for 3 crew members' children's cancer treatments during Master and Commander without seeking notoriety. He collected 7 guitars by 2005 and strung late into the night to calm his inner storms. Crowe recalled his existence as a gladiator without a shield. That may be true. His history includes brawls, shattered loves, bold gestures, generosity, and a peculiar fragility beyond the wrath. Was he irresponsible or misunderstood? Perhaps both. Russell Crowe was never silent. He lived it like a never-ending hurricane. How did Gladiator's hidden anarchy shape the film? Watch your screen to find out. The Untold Gladiator Chaos. My name is Maximus Decimus Meridiu. This sentence has echoed for decades, exciting audiences worldwide from homerooms to cinemas. What if I told you that behind its renowned opening, Gladiator was made with hesitation, improvisation, and even moments when its lead star almost left? Crowe wasn't bothered about his acting when he first played the role. He believed he could revive Maximus. He was uneasy about everything else. Half-written screenplay, scattered energy on set, and the weird notions circulating. Gladiators promoting olive oil through chariot racing was a historical feature that seems ludicrous to modern eyes. Can moviegoers watch that without laughing? They only believed in 21 pages of the script when filming began. Scripts typically exceed 100 pages. That means most of the story was unwritten. Crowe persevered because Ridley Scott promised. Something you don't 100% support won't be shot. That reassurance grounded the actor amid uncertainty. The best Gladiator moments were occasionally accidental. Max admired the miniature figurines after battle, whispering to his lost wife and son. The script didn't say that. Crowe chose at last minute, inspired by shelf props. After seeing something powerful, Ridley made those figurines the film's icon. Tommy Flanagan, who played Cicero, was only supposed to be on set for one day. However, that one improvised scene led to months of work in Malta, making his character more developed. Like Crowe, others struggled with doubt. Joaquin Phoenix, who played the terrifying Emperor Commodus, felt out of place. When dressed in heavy Roman armor, he joked to Ridley Scott, "What do I do? Wave to people?" Scott saw what you did. He trusted Joaquin's abilities. Even Crowe was astonished by Joaquin's menace, subtlety, and quiet craziness to comedians. He recognized he was on screen with a powerful force after watching those early sequences. No one predicted the enormous response when the movie debuted in 2000. The treachery and fights were lived by viewers. Commodus's underarm stab to Maximus enraged theatergoers, who cursed him. That connection felt like a gladiatorial arena, not a movie. Years later, Crowe confessed the intense adulation embarrassed him. His claim was that it wasn't about him. It concerned the cast. Connie Nielsen's royal presence, Richard Harris's gravitas, Jaimin Junso's strong loyalty, and more. They created something timeless. Gladiator, filmed in 1999, is still a global primetime hit. More than a film, a cultural echo. From turmoil, improvisation, and doubt, it became a masterwork that still captivates audiences 20 years later. What has Russell Crowe given up Hollywood fame for? Could his new existence be more amazing? Stay updated. Russell Crowe's unexpected new chapter, Gladiator to Farmer. Russell Crowe has been rumored for something unexpected after decades under Hollywood's harsh limelight. He left everything. This is the same man who captivated people with his magnificent thoughts and screamed as Gladiator. Crowe left his enormous Sydney property in 2018 for a life no one could have expected, instead of chasing blockbuster screenplays or luxury premieres. Why? Crowe's answers are always complex and intriguing. He moved to Nanoglen, 350 miles north of the metropolis, to escape the glitz. Property from a 19th-century dairy empire. It is not obsolete today. Crowe feeds alpacas, sheep, and over 100 cattle there at morning. Imagine the Oscar winner spreading hay to animals in the misty mornings. He doesn't resemble the Hollywood warrior, say neighbors. He wears faded flannel shirts and repairs storm-damaged fences or drives his Uda across muddy paddocks in the countryside. The local recalls an event that tells more about Crowe than years of red carpet interviews. Last winter, local contractor Mike Reynolds was stuck in deep mud. To his amazement, Crowe pulled him loose without thanks and asked about Reynolds' daughter, who was receiving cancer treatment. This Russell Crowe, marked by tiny gestures rather than stardom, is rarely photographed. Naturally, such a drastic change raises questions. Crowe may have wanted his sons to grow up outside of hotel suites and constant travel. Was this his subtle protest against a world that was always demanding more? To a journalist, he said he wanted his children to sense earth and grow up with roots, not baggage. Fans can't stop guessing. Does this indicate the actor's decline in Hollywood? Is this pullback the catalyst for a bigger comeback? Russell Crowe has abandoned the formula for whatever reason. He has created a new role for himself where genuineness trumps fame. What does Russell Crowe do outside Hollywood? Would it surprise you? Keep watching. Russell Crowe's off-screen life. His life was filmic. Blockbusters, red carpets. Something else was happening beneath the glitz and continuous camera flashes. His marriage to Danielle Spencer was deteriorating. His sons, Charles and Tennyson, were growing up more familiar with hotel corridors than playgrounds, and his once supportive family began to fade away. The quiet of those personal losses resonated louder than any applause for a Hollywood powerhouse. Instead of another house or blockbuster script, Russell Crowe attempted something impossible amid Hollywood's extravagance. Instead of another fancy estate, he bought his parents a rough plot of land. Not Malibu or Beverly Hills. Nana Glen was a peaceful rural area. 350 miles north of Sydney, 100 acres of unspoiled wilderness with dirt tracks, tall trees, and a serenity that wouldn't exist in Los Angeles. It wasn't a publicity or business decision. The gift allowed him to reconnect with his roots and possibly restore pieces of himself that fame had eroded away. What started as 100 acres grew quickly. Russell added dozens, then hundreds, of acres throughout the years, creating more than 1,000 acres of farmland. While Hollywood waited for his next big headline, Russell was quietly forging a new identity without screenplays, limelight, or studio contracts. After a storm, he drove up in a tractor to remove broken branches from power lines around dawn, and neighbors noticed him. Local anecdotes describe him wading in mud up to his shoulders, helping dig out a bogged automobile, or walking into the supply store in scuffed boots to ask about fence wire prices without entourage or stylists. Just a man adapting into a life without premieres or Oscars. He erected a small residence in the center of his property. Simple, broad verandas and big tables for family dinners beneath the skies, not industrial parties. His sons could ask inquiries without flashing cameras. Conversations might continue without the world hearing them. Success was redefined, not abandoned. A move like this sparked murmurs. Was Russell Crowe leaving Hollywood forever? Did the blazing temper and unstoppable career buff prefer dusty roads and gum trees to screenplays and directors? Though less theatrical, the truth is more telling. No retirement for Crowe, just rewriting the rules. He still acts, but his nighttime stage is no longer Los Angeles. Applause doesn't matter on this calm farmland, because his regained roots are the reward. What stunning fact has Russell Crowe shared about celebrity and off-screen life? Watch to find out. The shocking truth about Crowe's fame, legacy, and off-screen life. A scared young actor approached Russell Crowe about aging in Hollywood at last year's event. He took the question head-on with a viral line. Wrinkles are life subtitles. He doesn't see his face marks as defects. They demonstrate a continuing story. There were other moments that surprised the audience. Crowe cuts through Hollywood's veneer with realities. He likened fame to a rental car. You return the keys. His tone was humorous but profound. Instead of counsel, warned against confusing recognition with goal. It's no surprise that Crowe articulated his industrial approach with almost uncompromising simplicity in a 2021 Sydney Morning Herald interview. Give studios your work, not soul. They can't compost souls. Due of its wit, fan pages have repeated that line, but partly because it shows a man who shuns the spotlight. Even among close friends, Crowe has this view. Recently, he informed co-star Jennifer Connelly that his legacy is quieter than medals and headlines at a charity gala. My boys planted trees that will outlive us. His best buddy, musician Alan Doyle, said Crowe now evaluates achievement by something more personal than standing ovations. Crowe spent 3 nights on his farm last month helping deliver a difficult calf, instead of walking a red carpet. Crowe said his true standing ovation was when the newborn stood on unsteady legs. Fans are constantly wondering about this move from Hollywood to farms and forests. Is Crowe discreetly choosing a new sort of stardom where legacy is planted in soil rather than awards? Will we see him less on TV and more in the plain, grounded rhythm of real life? However, one thing is certain. Russell Crowe's story went beyond scripts. It creates land, connections, and memories that endure fame. What is Russell Crowe constructing in dust and whiskey? And why care? Watch your screen to find out. Making history in dust and whiskey. I wish Russell Crowe were solely known for Gladiators, Hollywood premieres, and gilded statues. But the truth is much more complex. At 61, he has abandoned the spotlight to build something enduring. A life of grit, music, and memories. He likened fame to a rental car. Smart people make sure the engine operates before returning the keys. Perhaps Crowe is doing that now, optimizing his legacy. On his vast property, scripts and red carpets are no longer important. Hear sheep shearing and blues chords strummed in his barn. The barn where his blues album Indoor Garden Party was unexpectedly recorded. Sydney guitarist Ben Roberts recalls Crowe stopping mid-song to check on sheep before finishing the tune. Hollywood could never stage this image. Authentic, dirty, and rugged. Entering his mechanical shed affects the smell. Whiskey replaces oil and dust. Rows of barrels labeled the grunts honor his great-grandfather's pub. Daily temperature changes are a part of life here. It enhances flavor. He spoke to GQ Australia like a seasoned distiller rather than an actor. He had boots with dust and blood with tannins. Hollywood never prepared Crowe for his transformation. Farmer brewing barrel and blues stories. His story continues beyond his farm's fences. His Auckland childhood home became exceptional in 2021. The Crow's Nest, a free film school for poor teens. 12 students arrive each July. Not learning behavior. Work skills are taught. Set design, camera repair, lighting setups, grip gear. Graduate Leilani Tala works for Netflix and remembers his advice to be the grip, not the star. Burning stars. Grips build worlds. It seems like a challenge to ignore glamour and focus on craft. Crowe also works to preserve voices Hollywood won't highlight. The Gumbanger Language Project digitizes practically forgotten 19th century indigenous audio. He sat through weeks of translations, wondering, is this his silent rebellion? Recalling a nearly silent past instead of applause. Naturally, Crowe has pursued passion projects. Even in athletics, he was stubborn. As Rabbitohs co-owner, he wants his players do more than sign autographs. He advises removing graffiti. Community service. Clear message. Legacy is formed by action, not applause. His own reckoning follows. Recorded in his 2025 memoir Noise to Signal. Early readers describe it as raw and uncensored, with divorce auctions, floods that threatened his farm, and silent conflicts no one noticed. Truth, not vanity. He may play his most personal role. Still, one question remains. How many stars ever stop chasing? Hollywood rarely releases its stars, and even fewer do so voluntarily. Crowe seemed to have traded stardom for roots, whiskey barrels, and old voices. Perhaps his sons will comprehend it best when they stand with their boots in the earth he battled to defend. Who else has left the spotlight to find something more genuine? How is Russell Crowe doing after leaving fame? Could it be more surprising than Hollywood expected? Please share your ideas. Please post them below.